family, welcome back to my channel. So today for you guys, I'm going to be sharing with you the best of the best Dollar Tree organizational DIYs. These are organizational pieces that I truly believe help around your home a lot, and they are amazing. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your favorite DIY down in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel yet, make sure you subscribe. I upload lots of Dollar Tree related content, whether that be DIYs, hauls, reviews. With that being said, let's begin the video. We're gonna start off with the first Dollar Tree organizational DIY that is just one of my favorites. Now, back in the day, I had made some of these shelves using Dollar Tree products and Dollar Tree products only. I want to revamp mine a little bit. Do It on a Dime has done this before. If you don't know who she is, I highly doubt lots of you guys don't know who she is. That's Kathryn, Do It on a Dime. She's one of the best Dollar Tree channels you can check out here on YouTube. She does more than just Dollar Tree DIYs. But she did a shelf and I absolutely loved it, and it inspired me to try doing it myself using real wood. I got a piece of wood from the hardware store that is 36 inches by 12 inches. What you're seeing me stain here is not that piece of wood though. At first I was going to do a 30-inch by 6-inch piece, then decided against that and went with the 36 by 12-inch piece. The stain I'm using is from Varathane and it is in the color Early American. Now I'm taking two of these metal hanging plant brackets that I got from Dollar Tree. If you cannot find them at Dollar Tree, a bunch of hardware stores carry them as well. You're just going to find them in the gardening section. Now these come with screws. We decided to use our own screws that had a black head to them. We drilled these directly into the wall wherever there was a stud. If you are putting this just inside of the drywall, not inside of a stud, you want to use some drywall anchors. When purchasing the metal brackets, you want to make sure that the two that you get are alike. I ended up purchasing two and one was completely off. Just try to get two that are alike while you're in the store. Before drilling the other bracket into your wall, you want to take your piece of wood, put a leveler on top of it, and just trace the bottom of the piece of wood to create a straight line so you know where to add the other bracket, and then you can go ahead and drill that other bracket into the wall. I learned this part from Do It on a Dime. I took my Gorilla Glue and placed that on top of the metal bracket. I then put the piece of wood on top of the brackets, and then I add some weight. So you can use this to organize all around your house, use it in the bathroom to place towels on top of, use it in your kitchen to add spices. I am using this to organize some of my Rae Dunn stuff. I know there are a lot of people out there that do not like Rae Dunn. I get the comments all the time, but I like Rae Dunn, so what you gonna do about it? I mean, people like what they like. You telling them it's ugly and don't waste their money, I mean, what? I'm still gonna buy it. You could take advantage of the hooks that are on the metal brackets. If you just bend them in a little bit, I was able to put mugs on those hooks. You can add a basket and put things inside of the basket. You can hang some purses off of that if you want to. Make sure you check out Do It on the Dime's tutorial to see what she ended up doing with those hooks. You can like put a lot more with something she ended up using in her tutorial, and I don't want to say it just so you guys make sure you head on to her channel and check it out. For our next DIY, I'm going to be using the Sterilite crates that I got from Dollar Tree. They have them in black and they have them in clear. I just so happen to have the clear ones on hand. Now you can use as many of these as you like. To attach them, I use zip ties that I got from Dollar Tree. I just loop them through the holes and tie them in place. Now I had a big set that I had previously used with 12 of them, and I had spray painted it brown. This time around, I'm spray painting this using Rust-Oleum's flat black spray paint. If you want to scuff this up a little bit with a piece of sandpaper, you can, to try to get the spray paint to adhere better to the plastic. I then got a piece of wood from my local hardware store. It was 8 feet by 6 inches. You do not need something this big. I just got it so I can use the excess wood for other projects. I had my husband cut down this piece of wood to 30 inches in length. I then stained the wood using the same stain I used previously, Varathane stain in Early American. I picked up these wood planks from Dollar Tree and I stained them using that Varathane stain. I didn't sand down these pieces. You can do that if you want to, so that it takes the stain better. Once all of the wood pieces are stained, I start to place the wood planks inside of each crate. They don't fit the inside of this
to the T, but they are the only pieces that I could find at Dollar Tree that fit inside of the crates and worked well with the crates. You can glue these in place if you want to. I decided not to, so I can switch up the look of the crate whenever I want to. I then place my piece of wood on top of the crates, and again, you can go ahead and glue this down if you want to. I didn't want to, because again, I could change the look of this whenever
You can use
like.
these organizers to organize so many different things. You can use it in the bathroom and use it to hold toilet paper and hand towels. You can use it in a kid's room to hold some of their smaller toys. This is on the smaller side. I've done a bunch of these organizers before, and sometimes people think that they're big and can hold a bunch. No, it's more on the small side and meant to hold things like, let's say, a Funko Pop or a figurine collection. It can hold things like that. If you're just going to be placing stuff on top, well, it can then hold things that are bigger. I wanted to do a modern piece, so that's why I stuck with this really pretty wood tone and the matte black, but I've done different ones in the past before. If you haven't seen them, I've done marble look and a golden marble look. I did a farmhouse one where I did wood all around the organizer. I will try to remember to link all this stuff down in my description box. Sometimes I do the voiceover and then I completely forget once I upload the video. This next DIY is another revamp of one of my previous DIYs. So from Hobby Lobby, I picked up these wooden pieces. They were 36 inches by 1 inch. I'm sure you can find something similar at the hardware store. I just so happened to be in Hobby Lobby and thought these are going to work. Now from Dollar Tree, I picked up these wall mount wire racks. You're going to find them in the hardwood section. They come with screws as well as drywall anchors if you planned on drilling these directly into your wall. So what you'll do is you'll figure out where you want your racks to be placed and then go ahead and make some markings so that you know where you want the racks to be. Once you have everything marked out, what I actually recommend doing is staining or painting your wood first, but everything's a little bit backwards and I'll tell you why in a second. But after you have your wood stained or painted, then I recommend putting in the wire rack. So you can use a drill bit to create a hole, then go ahead and put the screws through that. If you don't have a drill bit, anything of that nature, you can go ahead and use a hammer and a nail, get a little hole going, and then go ahead and screw your wood just using a regular, hand screwdriver to screw the screw into place. Matt has been showing me how to use power tools. I know how to use a drill to drill things into wood and such, but I don't know how to choose the correct drill bit and how to get it into the drill. Matt was going to show me that, but as he was opening the case to get the drill bits out, one of them just flew out of the packaging, whatever it was in, and whacked me in the eye and ended up cutting my eye. Yeah, I got hit by a drill bit. Thank God it wasn't the sharp part that hit me and it hit the corner of my eye versus the pupil of my eye. So there was some type of silver lining there. So yeah, after that happened, I was like, you know what, Matt, you can do this all. I'll film you doing it because I'm over it. I'll be using this as a coffee mug rack and I'm going to have it hanging on my wall. So I got these D-ring hangers that I had Matt screw to the back of the wood. Now, if you are going to put a lot of weight on this, you need to get hangers that hold the appropriate amount of weight. So when you're in your hardware store and you're looking at all the hangers, look at how much weight they hold and get the appropriate one. This is from the brand Ook, I don't really know how you pronounce this, and I got it at Home Depot. After I had everything screwed in place, I then painted, and the main reason why this actually ended up being all backwards was because Matt had to leave and be somewhere, so he had to screw everything in place and I painted it afterward because I don't need his help painting, but I needed his help getting everything in place. Anyways, that is it. You can put this wherever you want, hang it up. You can even put this like on a mantle or something if you don't want to hang it. Just make sure that you're not putting too much weight on this where it's going to fall forward on you. For our next DIY, I'm going to be using these bins from Dollar Tree. They're a square shape and they have holes in them. They tend to carry them in a bunch of different colors. I'll also be using some pool noodles that I got from Dollar Tree. You want at least 2 of them. Now, because I'm using white bins, I got some white pool noodles. You might not always be able to find the white ones. If you cannot find the color that you need, you can always spray paint the pool noodles and they absorb spray paint pretty
nicely. Now what you'll do is you'll cut pieces of the noodle down to fit in between the spaces where two bins meet. This is going to add the support that you need so that those bins lay straight on top of each other versus sinking into each other, and then your organizer is all lopsided. So I went ahead and I cut out a bunch of pieces of foam. Some of the foam I did angle a little bit using my knife. When I angled it, I didn't even measure it out or anything. I was just like guessing it and angling pieces of pool noodle. I take my pieces of pool noodle and place them between the two bins. I then use zip ties from Dollar Tree to tie the pool noodles in place. Dollar Tree recently got in really long zip ties, but if you can only find the small ones, you can attach zip ties to each other to get a bigger zip tie that you can then use. Back in the day when I made this, I used to use hot glue to attach the pool noodles to the bins. Using zip ties is so much better. I made 2 rows with 3 bins in each row. I then attached those 2 rows together. I used pool noodles between the areas where I attached both of those rows. Like I said, the pool noodles gives this the support that you need for it to stand without falling backwards on you and just like bending. I'm not going to be specific with the length that I cut the pieces of pool noodle to because it was just kind of all over the place. I just felt like, oh, I needed more pool noodle here, so I would just cut a piece and figure it out. It's really easy to do. When you do it, you'll see. It's easy, guys. Also, I was feeding the zip tie through the holes that are in the baskets and then looping that through the pool noodle to make sure everything was really nice and secure. You just got to mess around with this and figure out a method that works for you. Just know that you have to use zip ties and pool noodles and then you'll get there. So you can see I have a piece that isn't going anywhere. They're all sticking nicely to each other. Now, if you're going to put this against a wall, what I honestly recommend doing is using a bunch of command strips to attach it to the wall, or you can take nails and literally just nail through the plastic that way. Dollar Tree carries so many different storage bins and baskets that actually fit inside of these larger bins. Some of the Dollar Tree plastic baskets fit inside of these bins. You just got to mess around with the bins and the baskets or fabric organizers when you are inside a Dollar Tree to figure out what you like and see if it fits. I decided to use some of the plastic baskets inside of my organizer. I stored some of Cooper's pack and play covers inside of this, some mattress covers, crib covers, little baby blankets. You can use this even to store toys. Now, if you are going to store toys inside of this, make sure it's a child that is older and understands not to climb on top of this and or eat this. Obviously, I'm using baby toys because I only have a baby, just to give you guys an idea, but I wouldn't actually use this in Cooper's room because he's so young. He doesn't know not to climb on this and or not to eat this thing. I feel like this could work so well inside of a laundry room, or if you have a linen closet where there's not enough shelves or there's a big gap between the floor and the shelf, you can use it there to store more things. For our next DIY, I'm going to be using these cabinet shelves from Dollar Tree. Just like the metal bracket, you got to make sure that you're getting ones that aren't all wonky. I ended up purchasing a few and then I got home and realized that the legs on some of them weren't all even. Some legs were a little bit shorter and I tried to bend it so that it worked and it just didn't work. Make sure you're getting ones where all of the legs are even. I'll also be using these baskets from Dollar Tree. These ones look like they can store paper inside of them, so they're more of like a rectangular shape. Now what I'll do is I'll take some zip ties and I will attach the wire shelf to the basket. So I flip the basket over, figure out where I want the shelf to be, feed my zip tie through the basket and around the wire shelf, and tie it in place. This is 10 times better than gluing the shelf to the basket. It makes it super secure so that the wire shelf doesn't budge. I'm using 3 baskets for this DIY and 2 shelves. You can use as many as you like. What I'm going to do is I am going to take the baskets and shelves and just place them on top of each other. So I have my basket at the bottom and then the other 2 baskets above that. So I'm basically kind of making a tier basket type of situation. To turn this all into one unit, you can take some zip ties, put them around the legs of the shelves, and then feed the zip tie through the basket and tie them in that way. I'm showing you how to do that That's not what I decided to do with my baskets. Instead, I took zip ties and I fed it through the very middle of the baskets. The Dollar Tree zip ties weren't long enough to do this with just one, so I fed 2 zip ties through each other to get a bigger zip tie, and that's the way I fed it through the middle of the basket. And that's how I attached all of these pieces together without using glue. You can use glue if you want to. It's just, let me tell you, it's just 10 times easier using the zip ties, and it's way more sturdy. You can use this to store so many things. I'm using this as a fruit and vegetable basket, and look how many fruits and vegetables I was able to store in this. The one that I actually bought from Marshall's, I can barely store anything. I can store a bunch of bananas, and then I can store like a couple of apples inside of it. This is definitely the biggest fruit basket I've ever had. For our next DIY, I'm going to be using the wooden crates from Dollar Tree. They carry 2 different kinds. This is the bigger of the 2 and the one that I prefer. Now I'll be taking 3 crates initially and gluing them together using hot glue. I'm using hot glue for video purposes, but I highly recommend using a wood glue to attach the crates together. I'm starting off with 3 crates, attaching them together, and then creating another row of 3 crates. Now I'm going to make this so that one row is higher than the other. So I take 2 crates, and these are going to be the outer parts of the unit that I'm making, and I'm just attaching them to the back of my first row. You can use 3 crates in the back of each row, or depending how many crates you're using in general. So if you use 4 crates in the front, you can put 4 crates in the back. But to save money, I decided to use less crates in the back because you can't see it anyway. And so those 2 crates that I'm using are enough support for the back row to still stand on its own. If you're creating a bigger unit, let's say 6 crates in each row, I'd then recommend putting 3 crates in the back at least. So a crate on each end and 1 crate in the middle. You'll figure it out as you make your own. So I go ahead, add those crates to the back, and then add my next row of crates right on top of it. I then went ahead and stained this using Varathane stain, and you guessed it, Early American. I just really like this stain. I used an old rag to stain most of the wood, and then a paint sponge to get the inside of the crates, which are a little bit harder to stain because you got to get in every little corner. Next up, I'm going to be using these chalkboard tags along with a chalk marker to create labels that I am going to glue to the front of the crates. Now I made this to hold K-cups. Obviously, there are so many other uses you can use for this. You can use this probably on a desk and use it to organize desk pieces like pencils, pens, maybe near a sewing machine to put little odds and ends inside of. After I have everything written on my chalkboard tags, I go ahead and glue the tags to the front of my crates. I do recommend using wood glue again to do this. It just adheres better. It's more long lasting. I was able to get 6 K-cups inside of each crate. I feel like you could possibly get 8 total depending on how you lay them out. This DIY is so inexpensive and easy to do. It's also really easy to change the look of it to match your decor. I absolutely love this DIY, and I find it to be one of my favorite ones that I've ever done. This next DIY honestly is really a DIY, who knows, because technically anything could be a DIY if you're doing it yourself. Dollar Tree right now has in these soda fridge can storage pieces. They are awesome. You are not going to find these anywhere else for $1. If you cannot find them at your local Dollar Tree, you can go to places like Ross, Burlington, and pay a little bit more for them. So what I did is I used my Cricut to go ahead and cut out some vinyl pieces with labels. So I did soda, I did one that said Coke. Some of you guys might be like, what's the difference? We have Coca-Cola in our house more than we have other sodas, so I did one that was kind of like generic and we could put anything inside of it, and then one that said Coke for actual Coke. You don't have to just use this for beverages. You can do vegetables and you can do fruits. You can do honestly whatever you like. You don't even have to just use this inside of your fridge. You can use this in a craft room, use it to store pencils and crayons. You can use these inside of a garage, use one of them to store just screws and one to store nails, one to store tools if you want to. Use them to store your kids' Legos by color if you want to. There's just so many different uses for these. As you can see, obviously I'm just using this inside of my refrigerator, and this organized my refrigerator so much. My refrigerator before this was definitely unorganized and it looked like a hot mess. Now everything looks so nice. You do not need a Cricut. Dollar Tree does carry labels that you can write directly on top of. They also carry letter stickers and you can go ahead and spell out things that way. Like I said, if you can't find them at your local Dollar Tree, a lot of other stores carry them for a decent price. You're just not going to be able to find them for $1. It's more so going to be around $2.99 to $3.99. Our next DIY is something where it's like, is it a DIY just like before? But it kind of sort of is. And basically from Dollar Tree, you want to get some of their book rings. You're going to find this in the stationery section. And then you want to get some of their command hooks. I really like the clear ones. Now what I love to do with these is use these to store my utensils on my wall. I have a very small kitchen, so I try to find space wherever I can. I just feed the book ring through my utensils and then hang them onto the command strips. I've done this all throughout my kitchen with measuring cups and measuring spoons. There are holes inside of all of these utensils and pieces already, but they don't go on the hooks right. They hang outward or they just won't hang at all. So that's why I use a book ring, so they hang easily off of the command hooks. And let me tell you, it is just a game changer, especially if you have a small kitchen. Even if you have a bigger kitchen and you have really pretty utensils that kind of can act as the core, you can do this. It's one of my favorite things to do using Dollar Tree products. Last organizational DIY I have to share with you guys, I actually shared recently. From Dollar Tree, you just pick up some of their stackable organizing drawers. You can pick up as many as you like. I'm going to be using 6 total, and I just glue one on top of the other using my hot glue gun. I did 2 rows with 3 of those stackable organizers on top of them, and then I glued those 2 rows together. Next, I'm going to be taking some lipstick organizer, also from Dollar Tree, and I glue that to the top of my stackable organizers. And then I got the makeup organizer, so basically it looks like the lipstick organizer, but with a bigger space for things like foundation. And for just $8, I have this really decent size makeup organizer using Dollar Tree products, and it holds a good amount of makeup, especially the lipstick organizer and the little makeup organizer that are on top of the stackable organizers. I love this thing, and it has come in so handy for all of the makeup that I still keep on hand. That's it for my favorite Dollar Tree organizational DIYs. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Again, let me know your favorite down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.